Welcome to Elders Corner. I'm your host, Dr. Ricardo Whyte, and I have the privilege of being the head elder of an awesome congregation. I want to introduce you to some inspiring game changers. These are people who are making awesome contributions both to the congregation and making a huge impact in their communities at large. Join us and learn some inspiring stories. My name is Ricardo Whyte, and I'm a head elder here at Mount Rubidoux. And we're inviting you to an exciting segment of Elders Corner, where I have the privilege of spending a little time with Brian Huggins. So, Brian, welcome to Elders Corner.
Thank you.
Brian, you spent quite a bit of time, I guess, growing up here at Mount Rubidoux, is that right?
Yeah, I had gone to Rubidoux on and off throughout elementary and middle school. And then starting high school, I became a regular member. I joined the Pathfinder Club, and I've been a member ever since.
Okay. And so, positive experience for you, I gather?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so you didn't really want to claim us the whole way. You were kind of on and off, you know?
I bounced around.
I caught that.
Bounced around with a lot of churches before settling in.
But the bottom line is, what do you feel like growing up here contributed to who you are today?
I mean, well, first of all, it's the people I was, surrounded with, especially at church. So during my Pathfinder experience, I met a lot of people who taught me a lot about leadership, personal development, made a lot of friends, and that prepared me to an extent for where I am now.
What is Pathfinders, by the way?
Pathfinders is the Adventist equivalent of Boy Scouts. It has a similar feel where you learn a lot of life skills and life lessons, but it has the added component of Adventism and learning how to do this along with developing a relationship with God. And I went through the program. I did Master Guide, which is where you really get into the theology. You have to read works by Ellen White and other major thinkers in the church.
So it's our equivalent to like Eagle Scout, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. And so you're saying, hey, that really contributed to your growth process?
Absolutely.
Okay. So where'd you go for high school?
I went to Loma Linda Academy.
Okay. What was that like for you?
I liked it. I was there from first grade all the way through 12th grade. I learned a lot, met a lot of, again, great people. I had some really good teachers who helped me turn my life around and get on the right track. So,
Turn your life around. What do you mean by that?
There was a time up until about 4th or 5th grade where I didn't know where I stood as a student, and I also didn't know what it meant to pursue excellence or be a good student or what that could do for me long term. But in 5th and 6th grade, I had two teachers who were very invested in my personal growth and my success at school and in life in general. And they pulled me aside and they said, hey, you have talent and I'd like to see you do something with that. And from then on, I had, it was nice being validated and having somebody in my corner to encourage me.
Okay, you want to shout out their names, or they probably wouldn't want their names mentioned?
It was Miss Pope and Miss Giddings, Lori Pope and Cynthia Giddings.
And I say that because a lot of times people don't know the impact that their work has had, and so when we can spend some time and actually shine a spotlight on it, it's fun to do that. So they helped you kind of turn things around. You went through Loma Linda Academy.
Yes.
How well do you feel like Loma Linda Academy prepared you for the next level?
I felt really prepared coming out of Loma Linda. Adjusting to college is always hard, so I'm not going to say I was able to sail through everything from the get-go. But I do feel I was well prepared. I had the opportunity to go through the honors program, so I had taken several honors classes, which helped me do fairly well at Cornell.
Now, where did you choose to do your undergrad training?
I just finished with a degree in Applied Economics and Management from Cornell University.
Well, excuse me there, Brian. You're putting vocabulary words in my mouth. Say that one more time.
My degree?
Yeah, your degree.
Applied Economics and Management.
Applied Economics and Management. How did you come to choose that as your major?
I'd always wanted to study business. My dad's an accountant, and I had that background growing up with him. He taught me a lot of things about business. And then throughout high school, I volunteered quite a bit at Loma Linda University in the medical school and some of the other allied health programs. And I saw that, while you can see quality healthcare, managing it well is going to be the key to success for the long term. And that's something I saw myself doing. It was something I was really passionate about, and that inspired me to look for a business degree, which I had hoped to combine with a degree in medicine to eventually go into healthcare administration. So with that in mind, I was looking for different colleges that had good business programs and also the opportunity to get a medical education. And I happened to find Cornell, and I just felt like that was the right fit for me.
Good for you. What helped you to say, hey, maybe I don't need the medical degree. Maybe I just need to focus on the business?
That was a tough process. The hardest part was convincing myself that I should look in another direction. I had done my freshman and sophomore year at Cornell trying to be pre-med, and I just felt that it wasn't quite for me. And at the same time, during my sophomore year, I started working at an incubator where we had healthcare startups. And that year, I learned so much, and it opened.
Explain what an incubator is.
Yes, an incubator is a facility, or it doesn't actually have to be a physical facility, but in this case it was, where we house startup companies that have just started and aren't quite on their feet yet, and we coach them and counsel them and give them resources that they need to become independent. And I was able to work with several different companies in several different areas. It was a great addition to my business education, and I thought this is where I belong. It fits my talents and my personality a lot better, and I feel like I can really do something here. So once I had found that, I made the decision to stop pursuing medicine and look more into healthcare and business.
So one of the things that stood out to me about your story at Cornell is you talked about the important role of mentorship. Tell me
Yes.
about what mentorship helped you to achieve at Cornell.
Yes, mentorship was something that was a huge factor in my success at Cornell. From the beginning, I was paired with an alumni mentor who I just stayed in touch with throughout the 4 years. We'd get on the phone every couple weeks or a couple months, depending on how things were going with our schedules, and we'd stay in touch. I also got connected with this group called SWAG, Scholars Working Ambitiously to Graduate, which was a mentorship organization at Cornell, started my freshman year, specifically focused on black male achievement at Cornell. And through that process, I've met several mentors, and they've really helped me through everything and helped me get to where I am today.
My understanding is swag. Listen to swag. I like that. Swag was actually instrumental in increasing the percentage of black males graduating
Yes.
from Cornell. Can you tell me about
Yes.
that?
Yes. So when I got to Cornell, the black male retention rate was about 75%. So in a room with 4 guys, 1 out of 4 wouldn't make it to graduation. And the reason they found that was happening is because there was no community for black men. There was no way for them to reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling with this problem. Does anybody know what I can do?
1 out of 4 wouldn't make it, or 3 out of 4?
1 out of 4 wouldn't make it.
Okay, all right.
And we started, I didn't start it, but I was a part of the group when it started. And since then, we've gotten the graduation rate up to about 86%.
Wow.
Last
So
time.
from what to what?
75 to 86% in 4 years.
Wow. Wow. Impressive. Impressive. So you really saw the powerful role that mentorship, had. And what did you end up going on to do after graduation?
I will be starting in investment banking, specifically focused on healthcare. That was something that I did want to stay in. It was a passion of mine, but more on the finance side, working with healthcare companies.
How did you get your job?
It was kind of a weird process. I had met somebody who visited one of my classes my junior year, and I asked them, how do I get your job one day? Because I want to, when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Wow.
And they said investment banking is a great place to start. And over the summer, I stayed in touch with people from that company, and they recommended the firm that I eventually signed with. And throughout the application process, I was able to speak to professors and other students who helped me get prepared, who even recommended me for the position. So when I interviewed, I got the job. They called me the same day, and I signed very shortly after. It was really exciting, happened really quickly, which was nice because I got to enjoy my senior year, but I'm really excited.
Investment banking. So what do I can apply for a loan, or I gather they were not quite relevant to me, I gather.
Yes, it's not a whole lot of investing or banking with what we do. We advise companies on transactions, mergers, divestitures, fundraising, that sort of thing. But no, I don't. I don't handle loans, personal loans.
I gotcha. So can you talk a little bit about the spiritual process that you went through as you went to a setting like Cornell? So Loma Linda Academy, this is a spiritually based institution. Then you go to Cornell. What were the different experiences you had?
I mean, the first thing that hits you is that you very quickly you realize that these aren't the people I grew up with. It's not anything good or bad. It's just that I'm now with a group of people who are different from me, and that was the first hurdle, I guess. And then after that, it was where do I fit in, and how do I live my life, and how do I understand my relationship with these other people and with God. And throughout the 4 years, I can't say my relationship changed that much. It did grow stronger, and I did understand what it meant to be a Christian outside of what we call the bubble, being at Loma Linda Academy, where we're fairly sheltered and, I guess, cut off from things that happen outside. But I'm really happy I did it. I met a lot of really good people, and it helped me. I guess it strengthened my beliefs, and it helped me grow as a person.
Okay. You say it strengthened your belief, so you don't feel at all like sometimes it kind of shook your faith up a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they say doubt is the greatest tool in building your faith. And, there are times when it got tough, or when, people would challenge my faith. And I'd have to sit and think for long periods of time, what do I believe does that still hold? And coming out on the other side, I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to take a hard look at my faith and what it means.
So Brian, you talked about the fact that as you transitioned from Loma Linda Academy to Cornell, here it is, you realized that these were people that were very different from what you grew up being exposed to, not for better, not for worse, and at times it even challenged your faith. Can you remember any scenarios in particular where you felt like your faith was being challenged?
Yeah, just adjusting to a new life where I guess my spiritual life wasn't done for me. Coming from Loma Linda is really easy. We had chapel every week, had religion classes, and now any kind of spiritual experience I had to do on my own. I had to find that time, I had to set that time up, set that time apart. I had to schedule it and make sure it was something that I did. So there was that, that struggle, and then just understanding that there are people who disagree with you, and that doesn't necessarily make them bad people. And that was also something that helped me grow, just understanding different worldviews and what went into that and what that means for other people. Because you do live with these people. They're your neighbors, coworkers, friends, even family. So there was that, and it's an experience I was really happy about, and it's something I was looking forward to going to a secular university.
What in your preparatory experience, so to speak, got you ready to be more deliberate about your spiritual experience? So anything from your past?
My past.
Or was it kind of just a culture shock and you just had to try to adapt?
I can't necessarily point to anything particular in my upbringing, other than this is a priority. To live a balanced life, you need mental, spiritual, physical, and social even. So living a balanced life was something where if I felt out of balance, I felt like I was disconnected from something. It reminded me to look and see where am I putting time in my life, and is there something missing, or am I putting too much time in one area versus another?
I asked the question because as a parent, you raised an extremely important issue of your religion being done for you. And what that experience can do is it can, condition you to be dependent on having your religion done for you. And when it's not being done, it just falls away. Versus, as parents, us helping our young people to start being more self-directed in their religion, as you put it, so that when they're put into those settings where religion is no longer automatic, they're actually prepared for it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you can't really necessarily point to any one thing in particular that did it. Brian, that was a plug for you to talk about the role that your parents played. You just missed it though. Never mind. So let me just be explicit. I happen to know your mom, and I know what an awesome person that she is. What role has she played in your success?
She was always my biggest cheerleader. In school, out of school, she taught me so much. She made sure I grew up to be just a good human being, and that's really all she wanted. And the things she's done for me and the encouragement she's offered has helped me get through a lot of really tough situations. It helped me through school when I felt like I was struggling, and through other personal issues in my life. And just having parents who are there for you and really just want the best for you, that was really helpful. It was really helpful.
So things are extremely difficult, and you're feeling a little discouraged. You can pick up the phone, and she's got the right words. She's got the right touch, so to speak. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about the influence Dad had in your life. I heard earlier on that he plays a role in helping understand the importance of good business in healthcare. What else did he do though?
I guess he just set the bar high. I think very early on, like first grade, I remember coming home and he said, "Remember, failure is not an option for you." And he just always set the bar high for me. Making sure that I always pushed myself to do better in whatever it was. Sometimes it felt like he was being really tough on me, but as I've gotten older, I've understood that he did what he did for a reason, and now I'm starting to reap the benefits of a lot of the things he told me when I was growing up.
So I gather that grit was an important part of the recipe for your success.
Yes.
In life thus far.
Yes, never allowing yourself to even think, oh, I can't do that. Because that was something I was never allowed to say. I can't, or that's too hard. That was never something I was allowed to say. So really thankful for that.
So there might be someone listening, old or young, that is, going through it right now, and just maybe having a super difficult time. What words of encouragement might you have for them?
First up, keep going. There's never any reason to give up. And then second, just know when to reach out for help. Because even though hard work and just perseverance are very important, finding the right people who can help you is equally important, if not more important. Because there's some things you might not know, or you might not know how to handle, and there's somebody right next to you who can help you out. So I feel like that's something that we struggle a lot with, in the church and outside of the church, and in several different areas in our lives, not reaching out for help.
So the real word is mentorship. Mentorship is a very important thing with success. So tell me about what it is that you like to do to foster a more intentional approach to mentorship in this congregation.
Yes. My idea was to replicate the organization I was a part of, SWAG. And in doing that, we'd have different levels of mentors to mentor people through different stages in their lives. So we'd have mentors in high school, college, professional school, and even out in the working world, so that our young people in the church at any stage of their lives have somebody they can reach out to help them through whatever they're dealing with, whether it's a personal issue, professional issue, or spiritual issue.
So Brian, if we want the Mount Rubidoux audience to experience some of this swag, right, and embrace mentorship, how can we get some more information about that?
The best way to reach me is email. If you're friends with me on Facebook, that's another one, or LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn, Brian Huggins. It should show up if you know anybody who knows me.
Thank you so much, Brian, for sharing your time so generously with us. As a budding investment banker, clearly we can't afford your time, but nonetheless, thank you for spending this time with us. You've just enjoyed another segment of Elders Corner, where we're meeting individuals who are bringing us along for a little sneak peek of their journey. It's our hope that you're encouraged, and we look forward to spending some time with you on another segment of Elders Corner.